Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Thank you for joining me here for the Taz Effect, your daily news in a way you didn't realize you could use. It is daily news with historic context and commentary. Today, Donald Trump is having what the White House is calling his semi annual checkup at Walter Reed today. Trump is claiming that this is simply something that he likes to do and that he is having no difficulties, no mental difficulties, no physical difficulties. There are no further details from the White House regarding why he is having a doctor's visit today at Walter Reed. Um, this is not in accordance to the regularly scheduled checkups with a sitting president. So, um, who's to tell? Even though there was a huge hullabaloo when the former head at the Pentagon chief, didn't disclose during the Biden administration that he went in for a surgery, a minor surgery, an outpatient surgery. That's big. Then people were claiming that once Biden was out of office and he disclosed that, yeah, I got this cancer diagnosis, people felt that he was hiding that from the people. First of all, politicians hide a lot of stuff from the people all the time, especially leaders of countries. And they do it because you have to think about geopolitics, global politics, and how that looks. But nobody's really making a big deal about that. But so, according to NBC, President Trump received what he called a semi annual physical today at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, outside of Trump, the least trustworthy person on the planet, said the evaluation was a routine yearly checkup. But he just had a checkup a couple months ago when they told us that he had the reason why he was all puffy and swollen. Although the president received a physical at Walter Reed on April 11th. Okay. 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 I guess we're just supposed to pretend to be stupid. Now, remember, since Trump has been sworn in, it started with Doge, and then it has, trickled through the ranks even after the breakup of Trump and Musk, the downsizing of the federal government, okay? Because the whole plan is to run the United States like a business, and the people who are trying to do it are not good business people. Well, in lieu of the government shutdown, they're gearing up to shrink the government even more, but still concerned about jobs numbers when they're contributing to the hellacious jobs numbers. Substantial layoffs begin at federal agencies, White House says. The Trump administration is following through on its threat to leverage shutdowns to implement federal workforce reductions. Now, this is from governmentexecutive.com, govexec.com. The Trump administration began issuing significant layoffs on Friday, the White House budget director said, following through on a threat to inflict pain on the federal workforce as a consequence of the government shutdown. This is a twofold thing. Yes, this is a way of trying to force the Democrats into voting for something that's not going to benefit the people at large. The Democrats know this, okay? Anybody who takes the time to read these things and thinks about them know this, okay? But that it's layered, okay? It gives them a win over the Democrats because they've turned their side into win-loss, as if politics is the World Series of things, okay? But it also, if they can't gerrymander the way that they want to, they're going to gerrymander through optics, which the Republican Party is very good at. Very good at. They have mastered clip farming and rage baiting 4 votes. If they're sitting here going, well, you got fired and you didn't get paid because of the Democrats, that's what's going to stick in the head, in the minds of so many people, even people who are on the front lines. I want you to think about people that you know personally. Go with me with this, okay? You all have sat and witnessed something for yourselves, saw with your own eyes, heard it with your own ears, experienced it with your own being, okay? The two of you sitting side by side. No sooner than what you experienced is done, you've watched that person be convinced by other people that they didn't see what they saw and they didn't hear what they heard and they didn't feel what they felt. And it happens every single day. This is why you have people in the federal government going, yeah, I'm forever Trump. He don't do that. That's not how they're willing to lie. And some of them have convinced themselves that they're not even lying. The RIFs have begun. Office of Management and Budget Director Russ Vought said in a post on X Friday afternoon, referring to reductions in force. An OMB spokesperson confirmed the layoff notices were going out and would be substantial. Now, I want you to also keep in mind how this administration does things, because the first round of people being laid off or fired, because some people were just flat out fired earlier this year, nobody knew anything. Supervisors weren't sure who they were supposed to let go. There were times where the supervisors got chopped and other people were left in limbo because there was no one to inform them. There were times where people were trying to clock in and couldn't because they had been let go and not told before they got to where they to their destination. The White House has said the shutdown, which entered its 10th day on Friday, was an uninviable choice of determining whether permanent layoffs should occur, though President Trump has also called the situation an opportunity. The government shuts down under Republicans. Generally, when the Republicans are in charge of everything, when they are the majority everywhere, when they hold the power. And you're going to say that because elected officials could not agree on a budget, that means that some federal employees shouldn't be federal employees? And it is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for Trump to once again go through, slice, dice, and set on fire anything that he wants to. No previous shutdown has triggered such an action. Typically, as in the current lapse, shutdowns lead to large numbers of employees being sent home on furlough, who are then recalled when the government reopens. Under a provision Trump signed into law in his first term, those employees are now guaranteed back pay, though the administration has also threatened to circumvent that statute. See, Trump will do something or say something to garner your vote, to garner your admiration, and I'm using your very, very loosely, and then turn around and say that it's the worst thing ever or pull it back. We are being led by an abusive, narcissistic toddler. The White House has repeatedly said the layoffs would take place imminently. The American Federation of Government Employees has sued over the RIF threat, and a federal judge in California demanded details on the administration's layoff plans by Friday afternoon. A hearing on AFGE's request for a temporary restraining order to block the RIFs was scheduled for Tuesday, but the union on Friday asked for an earlier decision in light of OMB's announcement. They're trying to push all this out. Also, they're going to try to use the excuse, well, during the shutdown, we were still able to be afloat with these employees. And the last shutdown, we sent them home and we were still able to stay afloat. Were we though? Were we though? And you all remember that infamous raid on an apartment building in the Chicagoland area? Well, it's been confirmed that it was the slumlord that called ICE because they were trying to quickly and more cost effectively for them unload the property. Now, y'all remember when I told y'all that this situation, this time frame is going to revert back to the time frame and the mentality of the Red Scare, aka McCarthyism, and how people weaponize McCarthyism out of jealousy and to avoid accountability. And people were telling me that I was reaching. And I said, as a historian, I can see the writing on the wall because the people who stand on the wrong side of history are not creative. So landlords calling in ICE on their own properties and avoiding accountability. A interim, a habitual interim superintendent calling ICE on a sitting superintendent and leading people down a pathway, insinuating that the now detained superintendent got their job through nefarious means, and people aren't going past the headlines because the detained superintendent is a black man, and the interim superintendent, the habitual interim superintendent, is white, and nobody's questioning anything about him. Hmm. Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny that a lot of places that ICE is popping up in, either somebody is in the ear of Trump telling him that it's a war zone, or when it's individual people, it's because they feel like they belong in that spot. They feel like that job should be theirs, that house should be theirs, that spouse should be theirs. Hmm. Hmm. It's almost as if what truly drives the United States and keeps the most heinous ideologies and behaviors afloat is that green ad bastard of a monster. Mm. Hmm. Who knew? Who knew? Now, if you recall, Trump has been campaigning for a Nobel Peace Prize for a while. Uh, in an address to the public, we'll call it, a few members of the committee stated that, hey, never before have they experienced someone campaigning or talking to the press as much as they have, or sending in letters or having people send letters in for any of the Nobel Prizes. That was weird. That the committee generally sits in a locked room with the portraits of all of the laureates, everyone who's up for contention, and they weigh through things. That's how it is. It's generally a pleasant surprise to, if you find out that you're on the short list, to even find out that you're on the short list, but even so much more. This is why it's so, enduring to people, because you don't know you're being looked at truthfully. Well, I just realized I can't never keep. Here we go. The strings. You don't really know that you've been considered, and then poof, you've won. And you're like, oh wow, because think about it. The people who win the Nobel Prizes, and most people just simply focus on the Peace Prizes if there is a collection of them, they're doing things because that is their passion. They're not doing it to collect gold stars, to keep getting pats on the back. They're doing it because that's what they're passionate about, whether it's literature, any of the variant of sciences, mathematics, things like that. So it's a little weird when somebody is trying to push through, but the United States and its citizens truly believe that everybody should conform to them, but they want everybody, but they don't want to conform to anybody else. And I find it disturbing yet hilarious that Trump and his sycophants really truly thought that a letter writing campaign would get him a Nobel Peace Prize. That goes to show how little they value non-white people. And I've seen multiple times where, as Trump is making it known that at the top of his bucket list is to win a Nobel Peace Prize. We can speculate on why he wants it all day long. We can. But his sycophants are going, well, the Nobel Prize lost value when they gave it to Obama. They don't give it away, you earn it. Okay. Unlike y'all giving the presidency to Trump, this is something he would actually have to earn. He can't just sit there like how he kept getting on the Forbes list and just saying that he does stuff and having other people say that he's done this stuff. And they're like, you know what, let's put him on the list and put him at the top and just give him this award. Absolutely not. There's checks and balances. There's all of these things. And there's no way you are going to win a prize of that magnitude that is so illustrious for the sake of your ego, because that negates the purpose. You cannot win an award based around selflessness by being selfish. But, and please stop saying that Trump lost the award. It's not a race. It's not a competition. Okay. He was never considered. He didn't have it. And then it was like, no, it's not like a beauty pageant crown. But who did win it was a woman who placed democracy over ego and clout and actually worked to decrease crime, and who's also Venezuelan. The beautiful, beautiful irony of it all. So, oh Lord. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Like, can't. Like, you truly, truly cannot. Like, you can't make it up. But also, when I say the United States needs to humble itself and take a page from other countries' playbooks, we really do. Because guess what recently happened? Okay. Um, Peru's Congress removes President Boluarte as crime waves grip the country. See how other leaders try to do the shit that happens here in other countries are like, what the fuck is you doing? Fuck you mean? What, we don't do that here. We don't You acting real US over here. We don't do that. So how about come here? Come here, stink about. Come here. Come here. No, this title is no longer yours. Give us the badge. Give us those keys. Oh, that the special passport. Let's have that too. Yeah, go ahead, take him. Go ahead. But we are afraid of the optics of us doing the same. We should be more afraid of the optics that we currently have and more afraid of the tyranny that we're living through. But yeah, it wouldn't look good to arrest a sitting president. It doesn't look good to have a president who thinks habeas corpus is a whole ass person that's walking around needing to be captured and thinking that Christy Nome is the one to capture habeas corpus and bring them to justice. True fucking story. True fucking story. Lima, Peru. Peru's Congress voted early Friday to remove deeply unpopular President Dina Boluarte from office as a crime wave grips the South American nation and quickly replaced her with 38-year-old lawyer Jose Hierri, the legislative body's leader. Lawmakers had set up a debate and impeachment trial late Thursday in a 130-member unicameral Congress after voting to accept four requests for a vote to remove Boluarte from office over what they said was her government's inability to stem crime. It is Friday in the United States. It is Friday in the United States, and they have already replaced their leader because crime was getting out of hand. They took a couple votes on Thursday. And before they went night night on Thursday, they had already replaced their leader. We have been sitting here complaining about this leader since before he was sworn in. And yet he's still sitting there. Myself and others have told people step by step how to get rid of him. And every time we do that, there's a bunch of excuses as to how people, I got a son to take care of. Well, I take care of my mother. But, because I am the queen of slipping and sliding in and out of comment sections, open chats, everything. And y'all don't even know that I'm in there and that I see what you're doing. But you got the time to sit in somebody's live for 3 hours and shoot the shit. But you can't send an email, a letter, make a phone call, leave a voicemail to let people know this is what you want. You couldn't bother to make sure your friends and family got out to vote. Hell, some of y'all couldn't even make sure you yourself got out to vote. And you know how voting goes in your area. Get that absentee ballot. Get that absentee ballot. Do early voting. Where is your board of election? Do you even know where that is? Familiarize yourself with these things. All of these things. But Peru said, fuck that shit. It is Friday. They said Thursday. Here's the stats. Ain't nothing changed. We're not getting any better. We're getting worse. This is getting more dangerous for our people. This is not productive. This is going to affect us economically and so much more. How are we going to look on the global stage? How will this help us as far as geopolitics and national politics for ourselves? And they were like, unfavorable, unfavorable, unfavorable. And they looked at her and was like, you got to go, you got to go, you got to go. We want no more. Friday, they have a whole new leader, a whole new plan, and a whole new direction. And the United States is still sitting here like, but it won't look good. It won't look good. It won't look good. How do you think it looks now? How do you think it looks now? We are watching other people. We are watching other people yield the power that we have. Actually, a fraction of the power that we have as the people. Once again, y'all always have so many jokes for the French, but the French take care of themselves as workers. They don't forget that they are the workers and the consumers, and they make sure that their unions take care of them and that their government will take care of the unions that will take care of them. They play no fucking games. They have shut the country down. Fuck a government shutdown. French citizens, regular citizens, moms, dads, sisters, brothers, students, and everything in between have shut the country down to make sure that they and their kindred are okay. South Koreans, former president was like, you know what? I'm gonna hit y'all with this martial law. Cause I could do that. And they said, no, the fuck you can't. We're gonna get you up out of here. And who do you think you are, military? You're not supposed to do that with I will take your weapon and smack the shit out of you. Who you think? But we're sitting here, National Guard. You know you don't have to do ice. I thought y'all was the big bad in the bowl. I thought y'all didn't have to get ready because you stayed ready and that you was always ready for Civil War 2.0. I thought this was the time that you lived for. I thought this was the time for y'all to show everybody who your ancestors were. I thought this was the time to prove that you are a well-regulated militia. I thought this was the time to make it known why you have to have an arsenal of firearms. What the fuck's going on? I thought y'all was waiting for Wild West 2.0. But y'all sitting back here, well, the rich always get what they want. He's never held accountable. Well, What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? I thought can't no other country fuck with the USA. I thought it was America strong. I thought all of y'all was forward tough. Hmm. Hmm. 124 lawmakers voted just past midnight to impeach Duarte. There were no votes against the effort. Here's the thing. I want y'all to ask yourself this question and then ask this to everybody that's around you, especially those that have excuses. Why are we getting dog walked? Why are we getting controlled by people who cannot properly and orderly in proper order organize or protest? These are people who will go buy things to destroy them in protest. These are people who can't even boycott properly. How many times have we heard that they're boycotting the NBA, the NFL? They're not watching the halftime. And then before the halftime show is concluded, they're all over social media with think pieces and admitting that they need dictionaries, translators, and tutors to understand anything that has just happened. Why are we getting led around by our ear by the dumbest that society has to offer? You have sat back and given your power over to other people. And instead of standing up and taking your power back and being able to get results like this from the countries that you constantly have jokes about, the countries that you love to go on vacation at and get pissed off because they're not like the United States, thank your lucky stars that they are not like this hellscape. Thank your lucky stars that nobody is out here trying to emulate us. Okay, I think too many of y'all never learned that the United States is the island of misfit toys that never got a second chance, that nobody ever came to check on, that nobody ever gave any direction to. Y'all need to let go of the lie that the best of the best came over here and created this country. I want you to truly think. I want you to truly think if somebody is the best at something, the best, when have they got up and left? And don't tell me, well, the best high school quarterback has to leave. Now, I'm not talking about rules making it where they have to leave the school because of age. And even then, the high school quarterback rarely leaves the town because they will ride that shit to the grave. They will tell you till they 85 and got everything but they pinky toe in the grave about they stats from 1912. When has the greatest to ever do it packed up and left? If they are so great, especially at building and sustaining community, building and sustaining societies, why would they cause themselves strife, pains, and a multitude of migraines by venturing out and bringing other people into the fold that they constantly have to supervise and teach? They wouldn't. This country was not forcibly populated because, yes, it was forcibly populated by the best. It wasn't. You want to talk about Australia formerly being a prison colony? What the fuck do you think this was? This was the asylum for motherfuckers who didn't realize that they were insane, criminally insane. When you look back over the history of who came over here and what was accepted and what is now excused and viewed as something that needs to be treatable within a certain subset of a certain community, tell me it wasn't the criminally insane that were put over here in a floating on a floating asylum. United States kicked off serial killers, sadistic cults, heightened, savage pedophilia. Not going with the theme of the United States is fucking delusional, which makes it apropos for to be the home of Jennifer fucking delusional ass Lopez. Coming from Axios, here are the 8 wars Trump says he deserves a Nobel Prize for ending. So this is a quote from Trump, okay? Just so you know that this was not something that was just pulled out of thin air to make fun of Trump, okay? This is the quote. Nobody in history has solved 8 wars in a period of 9 months. You get that right. That is a true statement right there. That is some truth. We are proud of you for telling the truth. But then you took a breath and it took a turn. And I've stopped 8 wars. And there's the lie. We're not going to call it misinformation. We're not going to call it disinformation. We're not going to give it a pretty little name. It's a fucking lie. That's never happened before. And it still hasn't happened. It hasn't happened before. It hasn't happened now. Might happen in the future, but it's not happening now. Okay. But they'll have to do what they do. Whatever they do is fine. Who's he talking about in those last 2 sentences? Russia and Ukraine. And stick a pin in Russia and Ukraine because we're going to come back to that because there is a Trump on the case of Russia and Ukraine, but it ain't Donnie. So these are the wars that he says that he's ended. Israel versus Iran. He said that. And that's how he's describing what's going on in Gaza, okay? That it's the Israel versus Iran, okay? Armenia and Azerbaijan. I don't know why I struggle with that. My apologies to the country. Uh, the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda. India and Pakistan. Cambodia and Thailand. Egypt and Ethiopia. Serbia and Kosovo. Mm-hmm. 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 Now, given that he talks about everything that he does and he needs camera time for everything that he does, and we know what his focus has been on because he likes to tweet, he likes to truth about it over on Truth Social, where truth goes to die a horrible, slow death. Um, when did he have any involvement in it? Now, he had the opportunity regarding Israel and Palestine. He had a great opportunity with the help of uh, the European Union Avengers. Okay, when they came over here, they were like, "Yes, facilitate a sit down between Putin and Ukraine. We'll even be here to have your back. It'll be historic. Like nobody's ever done that. Like bring them both into the room, bring them to the White House, have them both talk, and you mediate. We'll stand outside. We'll stand outside the Oval while you have it done. Like we will have your back." He didn't do it. He didn't do it. But Melania Trump decided to take pen to paper, literally, literally took pen to paper and wrote to Vladimir Putin and was like, hey, now, I noticed that you keep taking kids um, to get a leg up in this war. That's some bullshit. That's some short dick energy shit. Okay. Okay. Uh, look, little Bill. Look, Caillou. This ain't a good look. And you kind of pissing me off. Okay. You pissing me off. All right. I don't give a damn how my husband looks. All right. I do care about the children. And these people over in the United States, they don't like me so much. And they really think that I'm like secretly eating the kids. So I'm going to need you to help me fix my reputation. Plus, I'm gonna need it in court when I finally divorce this motherfucker, because he just refuses to die. Okay, he takes a licking and keep on ticking. He at the doctors right now. Hopefully, they'll give me some good news and him some bad news. But what we gonna do about this? And Putin was like, "Oh, you were not intimidated by me putting the naked pictures all up on national TV. Bitch, I took the pictures. They was already public. How do you think y'all know about it? I know my cooter biscuits and my milk jugs been all over the place. What do you think brought his ass to the yard? I don't give a fuck. I got paid for them. And I own the originals. You're making me more money. You're helping me be able to escape Diaper Dan here. I don't give a fuck. Now, you gonna let some kids go? Oh, oh. That's not an embarrassment over? Oh. United States is really a fucked up place to live. Okay, well, shit. I've been in the I've been in a very airtight mobile situation with your husband on paper only. Um, that is deadly. And you survived that daily. And you don't like him either? All right. Okay. Here's the thing. I will release 8 of the kids. Is that cool? That's a start, motherfucker. So once I get confirmation that they're out, I'm gonna have a press conference. Okay. And I'm gonna let everybody know what's going on. And the pressure is on for you to release the rest of them. Okay. If you don't, I'm sending my husband over there and I'm gonna tell him that you agreed to be his bestie. Y'all gonna have an 80-day, 80-night sleepover, locked in a room like your ass is Stalin. Everybody gonna be too afraid to come in. If you die, bitch. But we starting with 8. That's pretty much that's how I picture it went. That's how I picture it went. Okay. For the actual words that she said and all that, I do have it posted on TikTok and on YouTube. But that's pretty much how I feel it went. But she got the job done. She pretty much got it done. Now, as we are in day 10 of this lockdown, keep in mind next week, if they do not figure something out and get something passed, that is when the troops will no longer be getting a paycheck, which is fucked up. And there are financial institutions that are jumping ahead of it to try to take advantage of military personnel, most notably anybody that they believe is financially green, aka younger, things like that. Do not take any loans. Do not take any loans. But according to Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, oh, and keep in mind they've already gavelled out for the extended holiday. Indigenous Peoples Day is Monday. Once again, executive orders don't really do shit. I have a whole breakdown on what an executive order is on YouTube and on TikTok. Feel free to view those. Okay. Um. So, and the restart of the voting was supposed to happen on Tuesday, and that has been preemptively rescheduled. So, according to Mike Johnson, there will be another session after the GOP bill is passed. The session scheduled for Tuesday has been canceled. Most representatives have already left DC for the extended weekend. There will be no further votes on the budget until next week. Troops will cease to be paid beginning next week if the government does not reopen. Fun times. And you probably know by now, New York Attorney General Letitia James has been formally indicted. According to insiders, there is no evidence for the claims against her, and this is not a case that can be won. But we know that. She is the second Trump adversary to be charged. First will be James Comey. She is charged with bank fraud amongst the charges. Her first official court date, is 2 weeks from now. Top prosecutors state that there is no probable cause for the case, but Halligan, we've talked about Halligan multiple times, pressed forward with the case despite being advised against it. This is a 2-count indictment, 1 count of bank fraud and 1 count of lying to a bank official. This is connected to a property that she bought in 2020, not the property that was previously investigated and talked about throughout multiple media outlets. Nope. Nope. The smoking gun property that they've been talking about for a while now, this is not even the property, okay? Now, the charges are due to, according to the documents, the best that, because none of this stuff is really making sense. So the best that I could put together, okay? And yes, I consulted with some attorneys and legal professionals, paralegals, law clerks, stuff like this. So this is the best explanation that could be agreed upon. All right. The charges are due to James using the property that was purchased in 2020 as a rental property and not as a secondary residence. The mortgage that she received was $50 lower than if she would have just used it. If she would have just said from the get go, hey, I'm going to use this as a rental property, and she gained a mortgage, and if she would have gained a mortgage specifically for the purpose of it being a rental property. Now, here's the thing. There are people that are like, well, yeah, if it's not her secondary residence, that is fraud. I'm gonna need you to step back into the real world, okay? There have been times, and um, I'll use my granny as an example. Um, my granny and papa purchased a house in a subdivision. It was like one of the first homes built in the subdivision way back when. Okay. When my papa passed away and my granny's health kind of took a turn, she decided to move into an assisted living facility, which meant she was no longer living in her home. It was no longer her primary residence. It got converted into a rental property. People do it a lot of times. And a lot of people, their homes uh, turned into rental properties, or their second homes, or homes that they inherited from family members during the COVID lockdown, because people lost positions, did not transfer to places that they thought that they were going to be transferring. A lot of uh, the retirees that go back and forth from Florida, they had to turn their Florida properties into rental properties to sustain themselves where they are most of the year. It happens. It happens. You may not set out to, you may think, okay, you know what, this is going to be my forever home, this is going to be my vacation spot, or yeah, I love this first house that we have, and that can be like our little vacation spot. But honey, this promotion that I got over here, we got to, we have to move it to this house over here, because this is my dream position. And then you get another position that takes you someplace else. These are things that happen all the time. um Now let's get into something that I don't hear a lot of people talking about. If you're not aware, you should be aware that a Black person, especially a Black woman, a Black femme presenting individual, is going to have to work so hard to be taken seriously and to be able to get certain positions. It does not matter how talented you are, how intelligent you are, you're going to have to work your ass off just to be noticed, let alone to get the recognition. Okay? Letitia James started her career as a public defender. She then later served as counsel for politician Albert Vann. She was appointed Assistant Attorney General in 1999. Yeah, we're gonna party like it's 1999. That 1999. Don't you wanna go? Uh huh. From 2004 to 2013, she served on the New York City Council. She represented Brooklyn's 35th district. In 2013, she became the New York City Public Advocate. She was the first woman of color in this citywide role. She was then elected to New York State Attorney General in 2018, the first woman and the first Black person to hold the office, and she was reelected in 2022. So this is not somebody like Halligan. Let me refresh your memory on Halligan. And before you go, Taz, you keep talking about this woman because I need it to be drilled into your head. The person who's willing to do Trump's bidding, who's behind this bullshit that's wasting our money as taxpayers and wasting time, especially during a time where we are pissing off other countries and we have no national defense. Halligan, upon graduating with their Juris Doctor, all just walked into a partnership at a firm. Never clocked any prosecutorial time. Their client list sounds like something out of an Adam Sandler movie. This is somebody who, while in front of Judge Eileen Cannon as a part of the Trump defense team when they are an insurance attorney, which is like getting a plastic surgeon who specializes in Brazilian butt lifts to join the cardiac team for your quadruple bypass surgery. Catch what I'm putting down here? Okay, okay. Eileen Cannon had to look, and we know Eileen Cannon is very underqualified for the position that she has. Okay, she had to look at Halligan and go, this is not right. Okay, go to this website; it'll walk you through how to do it. Halligan did, but this still ain't right. This we just got to throw this out. Okay, all right. And then they knew that Halligan was such a piss poor ass attorney, one of those attorney on paper only, kind of like Gates, that they're like, you know what? You can just be a White House aide. Because who goes to law school to be a White House aide? Do White House aides have degrees? Yes. Yes, they do. In law, not generally. Unless they are staffers / aides for certain departments. Okay. Then Trump was like, you have the look. Y'all know the look that he likes, that look of eugenics. And he also appreciates when he tells women what highlights to get, how to dye their hair, how to do their makeup, and what clothes to wear. And then you get on his radar and he's like, you know what? I need to, get a hold on this woke agenda in the museums. Why don't you go talk to the museums for me? And also, why don't you handle, talking to the media and make me sound really good? Yeah, that's how we got here. hmm And if you thought that we were out of the sphere of how to weaponize Turning Point USA, not so much Charlie Kirk anymore, because who gives a fuck about him anymore? It's all about Erica Kirk and Turning Point USA 2.0. So TPUSA 2.0. Okay. How is this working out for everybody? Okay. Let's go through this. Professor flees to Europe after Turning Point USA calls him Antifa. Now we know that Antifa stands for anti-fascism, which is an ideology. Mhm. But that doesn't matter. Just need some good phrasing and some incomplete frontal lobes. Author and Rutgers University history professor Mark Bray is taking his wife and children to Europe after facing mounting death threats, some of which were sent to his home address. Bray made the announcement on Monday, shortly after the school's Turning Point USA chapter called for his termination and claimed his research, which focuses on the history of leftist movements, puts conservative students at risk for Antifa to come in. Let me repeat this back to you. This man's research focuses on the history of leftist movements. If conservatives had fucking brains and actually learned something when they went onto college campuses instead of going into debt to play victim and go, oh, it's so hard being a conservative on a liberal campus. The only way I can pass is to pretend to be liberal in my homework or to go to college to find a husband or to go to college to get professors fired. If you do not align with certain ideology, why do you go to liberal arts colleges? There are conservative colleges out there. It is a choice for you to go places and wreak havoc. But why not take his classes? Why not learn your enemies? Y'all always talk about having a copy of The Art of War. Have you ever read it? Or do you just keep it to appear intellectual? Because you're getting rid of and calling this man Antifa, saying that He puts conservative students at risk for Antifa to come in, for anti fascism to come in. So, all of those relatives of yours that you previously bragged about being the heroes in World War II. See, this is the only reason why I want the zombie apocalypse to happen, because I would love for y'all to have to face them face to face. But see, I need them to not be regular, degular, schmegular zombies. I need them to come back reanimated with sound mind and body. But why not take the class and learn about the leftist movements? Did you did you think of that? Problematic, non-deconstructing Euro Americans. This is why you fail. This is why you fail. Everybody else has to. We are forced to learn you. And in turn, we become the experts on you, and you become an expert at nothing. You have a teacher that so often promotes political violence, especially in his book, Antifa, the Anti Fascist Handbook, which talks about militant fascism, which is which is on term with political violence. Rutgers Turning Point chapter treasurer Megan Doyle told Fox News last week. And the full grown, many of them college educated individuals at Fox Entertainment News never question these people, never, but they know what they're breeding in these people. But they hire people that are willing to be devious and violent and deceitful. They have someone who has a whole show that unprovoked bragged and admitted to trapping their current wife, literally trapping this person, flattening tires, doing all sorts of devious shit. The book talks about militant fascism, so they did not comprehend the definition of fascism. And they think that militant fascism, which is political violence, is a detriment to conservatives. I mean, in a way it is, but not in the way that they're thinking. A petition from the university's Turning Point chapter also accused Bray of being a prominent leader of the Antifa movement on campus. This is giving 1963 all over again. This is giving 1963 all over again, and not for the reasons that you're thinking right now. Not for the reasons that you're thinking right now. Walk with me real quick, okay? Walk with me. It's going to be a short, quick little trot, all right? In 1963, yes, we know multiple things were happening. It felt like, for a lot of people who lived through 1963, it felt like multiple decades happening at once. We joke about the multiverse now, but 1963 historically was a multiverse. But the biggest thing that was happening was police interference, police on every level, to the point where there were times where police were surveying police and they did not realize it. There were times where police officers were losing their lives to other police officers and they didn't realize that they were taking the lives of their fellow blue. Police were causing situations to get people bitter about progress, about protesting and things like that. The unrest, the upheaval, and the controversy and the violence was coming from within the house. They were calling one another and invoking one another into violence. And unfortunately, innocent people were caught in the crosshairs and maimed and disabled and murdered. See, the counter movement to forward motion isn't outside of the government. It isn't outside of the infrastructure. They put all of their energy and effort into trying to convince other people to do the dirty work for them, that they lose sight of there's no work left to be done when they're done. They've done all of the dirty work. Even still, the so-called free speech club got their wish. In an email to his students later posted on the Rutgers University subreddit, Bray said his class would be online for the rest of the semester as he and his family go to Europe out of fear for their safety. The email read as follows: Hi, everyone in terrorism. Unfortunately, my situation has gotten worse recently. This weekend, shortly after some negative media and social media attention, some of which, ironically enough, accused me of being a terrorist, I received another death threat and a separate threat that included my home address. The university and the authorities have been notified. Since my family and I do not feel safe in our home at the moment, we are moving for the year to Europe. Truly, I am so bummed about not being able to spend time with you all in the classroom. I really enjoyed our conversations. And you know what? I get the jealousy. I get the jealousy. You don't have any camaraderie. Nobody wants to talk to y'all in Turning Point USA, TPUSA. You have to force yourself onto people. Because nobody wants you around. And this one is coming from Fox News. Rutgers professor signs petition to disband Turning Point USA from campus. Change.org petition accuses conservative group of promoting hate speech and inciting violence. They did all of this wanting to get people removed from things, wanting to get people fired, all for the sake of Charlie Kirk. And nobody gives a damn about Charlie Kirk, but we told y'all that this wasn't, and I know that I told you multiple times, none of this was about Charlie Kirk. There's still a blog up saying this, they're not mourning Charlie Kirk. Rutgers University is defending a professor who signed an online petition that seeks to disband the school's Turning Point USA chapter from campus. The Change.org petition, launched earlier this week, accuses the conservative group of promoting hate speech and inciting violence against our community. While Change.org does not allow the public to view the list of signatories, each petition features a rotating recent signers carousel near the top of the page. While monitoring the recent signers carousel, Fox News Digital noticed that Tia Kolbaba, an associate professor of religion at Rutgers, signed the petition to boot the right leaning group. Rutgers University is committed to providing a secure environment to learn, teach, work, and research where all members of our community can share their opinions without fear of intimidation or harassment, a spokeswoman for the school told Fox News Digital in a statement. Rutgers is committed to upholding the rights of students and faculty to free speech and academic freedom as fundamental to our community. The university does not comment on specific personnel or student conduct matters, the statement finished. Yeah, I need y'all to stop acting as if people's employers are their owners. Because it's weird. You have a boss too. Does your boss get to tell you what to do when you clock out? Hmm. And it's funny that Black people were blamed for not having enough sympathy for Charlie Kirk, for the death of Charlie Kirk. And we didn't have nothing to do with it. We wasn't on the campus. They wasn't on one of our campuses, nothing. But now all of a sudden, everybody wants all the Turning Point, all the white race. You want to go to Black campuses because you know where the danger lies and it's not around us. But coming from NBCWashington.com, Turning Point USA group Blexit, isn't that Candace Owens' group? I don't think y'all should be calling it Blexit because didn't she come up with that? And they're not, you know what? Candace, you need money. You need money because it looked like your husband ain't really letting you get into the purse. Um, and the Macrons, they coming for all your coins. So you might want to call Miss Erica Clanswoman Kirk and be like, hey, if y'all gonna keep using Blexit, you gotta break me off, or you gonna have to sue them too, so you can at least break even. At least break even because your man, I mean your husband, it don't you was looking real nervous and you trying to sell merch. Like, I get it, girl. I get it. I get it. Speaking of which, New merch has dropped. Link in bio. Turning Point USA Group, Blexit, plans to visit HBCUs during homecoming season. Cup farming harvest season. Don't give it to them. Just ignore them. Don't escort them off campus. Don't look their way. Walk right past them. Show them the embodiment of ghosting face to face. Just walk on by. Just walk past them. Bowie State and Howard say they will increase security around campus with the influx of people that could potentially be coming to campus during homecoming. And the reason why they're doing this is because they won't have to officially be put on a schedule. They won't have to officially rent out space or anything like that. They can walk around, like the young lady who keeps trying to hold on and extend her 15 seconds of fame from doing her collegiate senior pictures on her college campus very illegally with firearms to take pictures like that. She got a degree instead of being able to secure a job with her degree. She let us all know that she wasn't the student that she tried to convince us that she was. Even with her whiteness and all of the networking that she says that her family and connections that she says her family has, she couldn't get a job that before she even walked across the stage to officially get her diploma. She let all of us know that she did not have a job lined up. So she needed to be the next pretty blonde, cooter biscuit holding talking head for conservatism. And if you notice, she goes with the cameraman using very loosely to call it and just walks around. Walk past them. Don't stop and listen to their questions. Don't you know what they look like? Ooh. A group operating under the umbrella of Charlie Kirk's conservative advocacy nonprofit, Turning Point USA, plans a tour of historically black colleges and universities during homecoming season. Locally, Blexit's tour includes Howard University and Bowie State University. A flyer online promotes an Educate to Liberate tour. Consciously, are you going to be a part of this? Probably not, because you stop educating, so you stop elevating. Nobody told y'all to come here, and that means nobody wanted y'all to be here, a Bowie State student told News 4. So why are you over here trying to start all of this drama? Because you know that's what's going to happen. This is why I say ignore them. They're not going to go to the white colleges for a while. They're terrified of that. But they need to keep up the persona that they have something to teach, that they're owning the libs, that they're standing on the right side of something. They might stand on the right side of their bed, and I mean like as far as right and left, directional wise. But yep, okay. Now hopefully we'll have less craziness going on next week and we can do Fridays how we normally do it, excuse me, by going around the internet picking up funny stories in the news from the internet and discussing that. But our final story today is going to lighten the mood a little bit because I think that it's funny that this individual is claiming that her ex won't let go of her from 20 years ago and that they need to move on with their life, which they have multiple times. But she's suing the ex. Who am I talking about? Who am I talking about? Huh? 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 Miss, I have no discernible talents whatsoever outside of twisting and sucking, twisting and sucking, twisting and sucking. Coming from red94.net, Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner. Yes, Miss Brand New Facelift herself. Whoever stuck they foot in her facelift for Kris, baby, 2 snaps and a twist. They did that. Okay, she looked like Kim. Yes, I know Kim came out of her cooter biscuit, but I mean, she looked like Kim, like now Kim, like they got the same face, literally now. Sued Ray J on October 1st, 2025. Here's what changes. Outrage follows October 1st, 2025 filing. This week, Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner moved from social media outrage to the courthouse, filing a defamation suit after Ray J publicly claimed a federal RICO probe targeting them. The timing matters. The complaint, filed in Los Angeles Superior Court and reported by Variety and People, says the live stream statements were presented as factual and harmed the plaintiffs' reputations. This is the first defamation suit. It signals a new legal strategy. How should public figures and fans read the stakes now? Here's the thing. How is it that no matter what Ray J says, the Kardashian Jenner clan knows about it before anybody else? Like, other people are like, okay, it's Ray J. We ain't paying it no attention. Or a lot of people aren't checking for Ray J, but y'all always know something. And a RICO probe, sweetie, honey, baby, poo poo, suing him does what? Like, did you confirm if you're under investigation or not? Because quite honestly, I could see it. I could see it. I could see the RICO. I could see the Kardashian Jenner RICO. I could see it. I could see it. I'm not saying that it is a true thing, but I could see it. What Kim Kardashian's October 1st, 2025 lawsuit changes for reputations and media noise. Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner filed a defamation suit on October 1st. The impact is legal escalation. Ray J repeated claims on a September 24th live stream. I don't know about any viral headlines and speculate because I ain't hear nobody talking about no RICO case film. Alex Spiro represents the plaintiffs, and the next step is a civil complaint in the Los Angeles Superior Court. Now, trust me, I don't report generally on pop culture. I'm not pop culture girly, whatever. You let me know. Have you heard the story swirling around? The lawsuit turns a viral live stream claim. And when has Ray J had a viral any outside of a viral infection? Brandy, don't come for me. I know that's your little brother, but girl, between us, you don't really like him like that. No way. The lawsuit turns a viral live stream claim into a courtroom test of what counts as a factual allegation versus opinion. We know what counts as a factual allegation and an opinion. Are they under investigation? Is there a RICO charge? Like, is this about to trickle over into my realm? Is this about to trickle over into my wheelhouse? Okay. Are we gonna be in court? I might have to actually do my makeup for that one. Pick out some outfits. That matters because plaintiffs must show statements were presented as factual and cause reputational harm. Law firms watch this as a potential template, high profile figures using defamation suits to push back against weaponized live stream claims. Fans will ask if social posts can now trigger costly litigation. Yeah, you know that it can. Meg the Stallion, like y'all covering this, but Meg the Stallion is whooping ass. Like they did lie on her, and she played the long game. She made sure she got through all of the other cases, got all the other information to prove and evidence to prove these motherfuckers lied and cost me money. They caused great harm, all this stuff. Ray J, that nobody takes seriously, is like, yeah, they're being probed for a RICO case. Most that's gonna happen is people gonna sit back and wait to see if the RICO case happens. Are y'all being investigated for RICO? Did y'all cut a deal and he wasn't supposed to say nothing? Or do you owe him money? Because was Ray J ever paid any of the profits off of that sex tape that featured both of y'all that your mama leaked, that y'all tried to blame him for, but your mama leaked it? Tazzy Farms remembers. Should answer yes. If courts find the posts were false factual assertions. What? One short sentence for okay. So coverage jumped quickly after Ray J's September 24th live stream, with Variety and People publishing filings on October 1st. Early reaction mixed from tabloids. So the only thing that happened was people started researching and were filing Freedom of Information Act request. So Yeah, and when I looked into this, most of the coverage that I see is about their lawsuit. It doesn't seem like anybody knew anything or took anything seriously from that quick little blurb that he said about their probe. Now, I think that it's funny because anytime there have been times that people have thought that Ray J has like dropped a bombshell and then it fizzles out because there's no follow up to it. There's nothing public going on. Um, but honey, like seriously, are did y'all been out here racketeering? Hmm. Have you been out here doing the racketeering? Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. I'm just waiting for the class action lawsuit against the Kardashian Jenner clan for cultural appropriation en masse. This, that's what I'm waiting for. And Taylor Swift, stop. Okay, and the Kelsey family, double stop. Um, ta just stop. Okay, this album was not satirical. It was not a joke. Taylor, you lie too damn much. Okay, you lie almost as much as Trump. Okay, you had said that you had been waiting your whole career to drop an album like this. You really thought that more people, and a lot of your fans are like, I didn't get Taylor Swift at first, but you have to really, really, really go through a really bad heartbreak and then you understand. Girl, she writes on a seventh grade level. Okay, the heartbreak that you're talking about is your first fucking heartbreak. Get over it. Shit. Um, Taylor Swift thought that there were more people who hated black women and that they would be on her side. She also overestimated her stock as the current poster child for the default damsel in distress disorder. Sweetheart, you got the man. You have your protection, therefore they don't need to protect you anymore. There's no big bad Kanye West waiting in the wings to come and pounce on you. And I love how y'all try every chance you get to redeem Taylor by coming at Beyonce, and it stems from that night. But y'all forget that Beyonce was horrified, and the next opportunity Beyonce had to take the stage, she pulled Taylor up on the stage so Taylor could have her moment. Hmm. But Taylor Swift, one girl, were you having sex with all these men leading up to Travis Kelsey, or were you just taking up the booty hole and sucking dick this whole time? Because to write a whole song about his penis, crazy work, crazy work. Um, and trying to be coy and trying to dunk on black women, you did more dunking on yourself than anything. Like Taylor, I don't think you realize you called yourself manufactured and fake. You insinuated heavily that Travis left natural for manufactured and fake. And Taylor Swift thought that there were more people that were anti black. She needs to heal. She needs to heal. She is blaming her inability to have healthy relationships on black women because so many people around her have gained their happiness through melanin. Even her bestie, Selena Gomez. First of all, sweetheart, Selena ain't okay, but anywho, um, mhm. And for the love of all things holy, can y'all stop acting as if Nicki Minaj is an originator of something? She's not. She's not. But I will see you all back on the TikTok later on tonight. My punishment ends at 8:30. So we will kick back off with 107 days, 107 whole days by Madam Kamala Debbie Harris. So I will see you all there. As always, if you enjoy what you see here, next time you see this face, bring a friend along with you and make sure you peruse the parent parameters of the links in my bio. I did put out some new stuff today as well. And if you need a break from all of that, check out my Nick Adams series or Taz After Dark. Let your head out and have a beverage or an edible or smoke, whatever you do, and enjoy that. Outside of that, each one reach one. You all be good or good adjacent. Just don't do anything that requires bail. Not in this economy, darlings. All right. I will see you all later. Much love.